WBRP, diving right back into the world of running for office. This time we're talking about running for district court judge. Jordan Faircloth joins us. Welcome back, man. How are you?
It's good to be back.
Get you right up on a
I'm
little bit
happy to
closer.
be here. Certainly, wish circumstances were different last year, and I wasn't here. But such is life.
That's the thing, though, man. People run for judge when they win. I never hear from them again. Like, there's no more interviews. When you're a judge, it's like you're done.
Well, I will guarantee you, if I win, I will be back at your pleasure.
Okay.
On the microphone.
Done. That's on. That is now recorded. That is on tape. We have it official. Let's start with the basics. For those that don't know you, give us a little bit of your resume and what brings you to this point of wanting to run for district court judge.
Yes. Originally from Alexandria, Louisiana, born and raised, went to Ash, except for a couple years when my dad was going to college at LSU, and we lived in Married Student Housing right across from, or behind the left field of the old Alex box.
Wow.
I literally thought it was the penthouse, the best place on earth, because I'm right by the box. I'm right by Tiger Stadium. I'm right by the PMAC.
Yeah, no, that was a hole.
I mean, that it was awesome. And then when I got to college 15 years later, Brian, I realized, wait, is that the same place?
Right.
Not a penthouse.
No.
But anyway, my love for LSU and Baton Rouge started there. Came down for college, had the privilege to play baseball at LSU, skip and smoke. Good success, good enough to play at LSU, not good enough to play after LSU.
Okay.
So went to LSU Law School, did that, and by that time I knew that Baton Rouge was where home was going to be.
Yeah.
Been working here, practicing law for dang near 15 years, doing all manners of litigation in courtrooms throughout the state. You know, if it can go to court, I've probably seen it or done it or touched it. Married, met my wife here, 2 young boys here, live here, parishioners at St. George Church. So Baton Rouge is home and has been home and will be home.
We won't hold the St. George against you. So. I have enough run-ins with the Dragons on a regular basis. So
look, I've learned during this campaigning process over the past year how many good schools and opportunities, particularly like the Catholic school system, which you're going to send your kids to Aloysius, you're going to send them to St. George, you're going to send them to Mercy, and it's all good choices.
No, we're really spoiled.
It is
with the choices we have here in Baton Rouge, and it's and there's you only mentioned 3 of them. I mean, there's the rest are
MBA,
VNA's on St. Thomas More,
St. Jude.
Father Alello's doing amazing things. St. Jude nestled right there in between Aloysius and St. George. I don't know how they get a foothold on anything, but they do.
Yes.
All right. Running for district court judge.
Yes.
This is going to be your second go as running for judge. I want to get to in a little bit what you learned the last time around, but I want to start with, why do you want to be a judge to begin with?
Well, same reason as last year. Being in the courtroom for 14 plus years, you see the need for good judges. Unfortunately, there's just not enough of them, and I'm talking throughout the state. Judges that have the right temperament, the right demeanor, move their docket, start court on time, are prepared. When you're an attorney and you go in the courtroom, you know, hey, I may win or lose, but the judge is going to be prepared.
Right.
Those types of things were, I saw a void, and I've always felt that I have the qualities, the boxes, if you may, to check that would make a good judge. You know, I am committed. I have the work ethic. I know I have the right demeanor and temperament to do the job correctly. That not only the attorneys deserve, but also the parties involved and the citizens at large, because it's an elected official. You are a public servant. You serve the parish. All those things. I've been involved in various leadership positions and different organizations. So, to use a sports analogy, I've never been one to sit on the bench when I see an area that I think I can help get in the game. So that's one. 2, as I mentioned, Baton Rouge is home. You know, last segment with Wax Back and all the other segments, you know, the violent crime issue is hitting you in the face every day when you wake up. Now, certainly no one would say that a judge can solve all the crimes or solve the issue. There's a lot of factors and a lot of roles to play.
No,
but
the judge has a role that I think has been undervalued, or I want to say underutilized in fighting crime. Our chief of police has been in that chair repeatedly saying, I'm tired of arresting the same guys over and over and over again.
Bingo. And that was leading me to my next point. Although a judge can't solve everything, a judge plays a huge role in helping to solve the issue. And as you mentioned, I have friends that are on policemen, and that is the biggest frustration. Hey, we put our life on the line. We go to arrest this person, this bad actor, this violent criminal. 3 days later, we're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So judges play a role, and how does a judge play a role? Well, I think you have to distinguish between those violent criminals and nonviolent criminals. There's no fear of consequence from these violent criminals. They get out 3 days later. They've been given the benefit of the doubt on too many occasions. I've talked to so many people around town, and I'm not just talking about your business leaders and your quote unquote high society folks. I'm talking about people where I knock on their doors and neighborhoods out in Shenandoah and everywhere in between, where this is an issue that we have to get a handle on. Baton Rouge is not the same place it was 10 years ago, much less 20 years ago. What can we do about it? Well, you elect good people. You elect people, including in the judiciary, which I'm running for, that have the want, the desire, the temperament, and frankly, the work ethic to do the job.
What is your role as judge then? Because there's different judgeships on different courts.
Correct.
District court judge would be what?
For Baton Rouge, we elect general jurisdiction judges, which means you handle both a civil and criminal docket. So whoever wins my seat, or this election, will have both a civil and criminal docket, which means part of your role is going to be handling those criminal matters of ensuring that the appropriate penalties are levied, the appropriate bail is set, where you're not having these issues reading in the paper, hearing on the news, wait, this person just got out for this bail or for this. I mean, those are the frustrating things that we see too often, and people are sick and tired of it.
No, 100%. So how much leeway do you have as judge to make sure? Because we see in the last 2 weeks, we saw a story where there was a violent crime and the person was out, and I want to say it was less than $100,000 bail. And then out in Ascension Parish, some dude steals some horses. He gets $500,000 bail.
Right. There is discretion. Certainly there are guardrails in the scheduling of how much a bail can be set. But there is the discretion with the judge where they can go one way as opposed to the other. That doesn't mean everybody that comes in your courtroom, you say, well, you're going to jail and you're never getting out. I mean, there are certain discrepancies there, but there's absolutely a discretion, to your point. Ascension Parish, 500,000, somewhere else, 50,000.
Right.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but from my perspective, the benefit of the doubt, the lack of consequence should err on the side of being stronger in terms of that.
Especially the more severe the crime. We got
Correct.
Jordan Faircloth running for district court judge in studio with us. Jordan, so you've taken a stab at this before. What did you learn last time that you could apply this time?
It's a great question. The first thing is, how voter turnout is not there. Voter apathy is real, especially
election
from it's just not a local election. It's not the quote unquote the sexy election, the gubernatorial, the presidency. So I learned that voter apathy is real, which means you really, really have to campaign in overdrive in convincing people, hey, you got to show up to vote. This is why you need to vote for me. That's kind of the big picture. From, I guess, a more pointed perspective, that talking to people and meeting to people wherever they are. It can be a meeting of 3 people. It can be knocking on doors. It can be going to a men's club meeting. It can be going to the lobby reception and shaking hands with 1,000 people. Everything matters. And I guess it could be distilled to that, not to plug my old coach Skip Burtman with his book, but everything matters. Everything counts. Every day if you wake up and say, if I could just push the ball down the field a little bit, it may be, going to a coffee group and talking to a couple folks. It may be going to a bigger event. It all matters.
When you do have those conversations, when you do go to a men's club meeting or have coffee with a couple folks, as crime is such an overriding factor, do people bring solutions to you as well? I mean, I feel like this is one area where we can all kind of be junior experts on it.
Yeah, the main issue is the bail, and why are these guys getting out, guys and girls getting out after just being arrested, et cetera, for these violent crimes. And I think folks understand there's a nuanced discussion between something that's more minor, a minor offense, as opposed to the serious offenses.
Right.
And resolutions are, some folks think everybody should be thrown in jail and key thrown away. Well, that's just not going to happen. It can't for everything. But they do echo that we need stronger leadership, understanding that there are leadership voids in a lot of places, and that includes locally with our judiciary.
Election day is coming up March 25th. Early voting is actually underway right now.
Correct.
Started on Saturday. And memo, note it to those who are going to take part in early voting, get it done before Saturday. It runs through Saturday, but if you plan on early voting, you don't want to be out on the parade route for St. Patrick's Day parade. The wearing of the green's coming up Saturday as well.
Right.
So get it done during the week this week.
That's exactly right. And if I have a little election data, there's 134,000 registered voters in this voting district.
Oh, wow.
It's Southeast Baton Rouge Parish, 70806, 70808, 70810, 70816, 70817, 70820, and 70836. And last year, we have direct data. In the primary, there was 10.2% turnout, and in the runoff, 9.2. So out of 135,000, you had less than 13,000 show up. So every vote indeed counts. I tell folks I am the walking, talking embodiment of a civics lesson, that every vote counts. When people think, my vote doesn't matter, doesn't count, tell them to give me a call. I'll tell them otherwise because I lived it.
I was going to say, tell the rest of the, we got a minute left. Tell the rest of the story.
Okay, I didn't want to.
No, we got a full minute and a half.
Okay, it's the runoff last year was April 30th, the same night that Garth Brooks graced us with his presence in Tiger Stadium. And 120,000 folks were there. And look, I've been a Garth Brooks fan since day one. That kind of changed on April 30th at about 10:15 p.m. My wife and I, we campaigned. The hay was in the barn. There was nothing else to do. We had tickets to go to the concert. So
I saw you at Mercy's Fair on Friday.
Yeah, I was at Mercy's Fair Friday. Everything matters.
Yeah.
And, we're there in Tiger Stadium with everybody else having a great time. And we pushed that day, like waving signs before Garth, go vote, et cetera, et cetera. So we tried to get the message across. And perhaps we did to some extent. But we're sitting there in Tiger Stadium, and I'm trying to enjoy it. I really can't because I'm watching the election returns.
Sure.
So, let's go hang out by the concession stand while Garth Brooks is playing. And we're watching, and I'm up 36 votes with 2 precincts left.
Yep.
And you never feel certain about anything till it happens. Those last 2 precincts hit at the same time, and it showed I lost by 2. And I looked at my wife Crystal and said, "Did that just happen?" It's like a half-court buzzer beater, a Hail Mary, a walk-off grand slam, all those things that it's like a punch in the gut, and you're like, "Wait, did that just happen?"
It did.
And it did.
You lost by 2. That's,
2.
Oh, good.
2.
That's SVP's bad beats right there.
It would lead SVP's bad beats for a week.
Meanwhile, I just while at the concert.
I
swear, if he was singing unanswered prayers at the time, I would have thrown something.
Oh, I heard that song a few times after the election, and I had to politely change the channel before perhaps some expletives left my mouth. But you know what? You learn that everything happens for a reason. You think your timing is what it's supposed to be, and it's not. So, it always happens the way it's meant to happen. And last year it just wasn't meant to happen. So we're blessed for a second opportunity. We got another shot at it. So we're campaigning as hard as we ever have. And I tell every morning I wake up, let me find 2 votes today. Tomorrow, find 2 votes the next day.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Well, we just got word that George Strait's playing Tiger Stadium on March 25th. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Okay, well, that could be a sign.
No. We're all good. You're concert free on the 25th. He is Jordan Faircloth, running for district court judge. We appreciate a couple minutes, man.
Absolutely, Brian.
All right, we missed AB.